up, guys? Back here for another beer review with you, and out here in social distancing. Echo, echo, echo. Although the bugs are making that hard, so they are not abiding by the social distancing rule. But anyways, I've had this beer sitting in the fridge, and it's been eyeing me for a while, and I just haven't had a chance to get into it. But it is Sierra Nevada's A Beer for Drinking, and I don't know. Very interested in checking it out. It is 4.8% ABV. This is a nice 19.2 fluid ounces can. It's very holdable. So, just gonna crack this open. Get this pouring. Haven't had this one before. But, yeah. Sierra Nevada is one of those places where you generally know you're gonna get something decent. Like, it's a very safe bet that you're not going to be able to go, man, that is a lot of head. You're not going to go wrong with them. And it's always nice to have those kind of breweries, you know, if you go to a place and there's not a lot of options, or, you know, it's a microbrewery and you know the beer that they make isn't very good. But, although I guess most local brew pubs don't really sell other beers. But, this could take a little while. This is all foam. But, yeah, so in case you didn't check out my last video, which was the Budweiser Nitrogen Lager, just out here in Arizona. I'm only here, you know, living here for a couple more weeks, and all my stuff's packed up, and I couldn't get a good angle. There's no good shots. There's, like, no good lighting in that apartment. There's, like, one window I gotta keep it closed because it's, like, the glass sliding door. My dog will bark, but dogs will bark at everything. So, couldn't really, it was getting hard to do real beer reviews without just, you know, them just looking like crap. So I decided, you know what, let's at least get outside, get some of these reviews done in the great outdoors. And I invited millions of insect friends to join me. So hopefully they enjoy it. But to do this without too many bugs flying into my beer. But yeah, let's hopefully I can smell this now, so let's get in the review, get into the smell. There's the first aroma you get is there's definitely like a hoppiness to it. Not super like intense as you'd expect from a sub 5% ABV. But there's that subtle element of like that kind of like a light pine citrus aroma. So yeah, there's that pine citrus. It's a clean pine citrus. It's not super heavy. It's not malty. It tastes. It smells like you take kind of a very crisp Pilsner and you infuse it with like a some lizards running around. You infuse it with just that kind of piney hoppiness to it. So I'm not expecting this to be uber hoppy when I taste it, but you got some elements to it. I mean, it is a beer. It's called BFD, beer for drinking, so it's got to be like a very crushable beer. But yeah, it's kind of floral a bit. I mean, there is kind of that bouquet of light spring flowers. Not like that you just walk into the grocery store and you're bombarded with like it smells like you just walked into like a funeral home flowers. There are certain flowers I just cannot be around because it reminds me of like funeral homes and like the memories that come with that. Like there's a certain flowers I'm like, you gotta get that out of here because I don't want to smell that. But this is more like springtime. Like spring has sprung. This is a spring has sprung beer. It's perfect. So I'm gonna recommend it on aroma. It's very clean, very floral. You got that kind of lighter hoppiness element to it. I think all around it's going to be a nice beer to just kind of just lounge around and drink. So I'm going to recommend it on aroma. Let's get into the taste. That is a crisp, clean beer. It's not big on flavor. There's not a lot of flavor going on here. Very, very light on the hoppiness. I'm actually surprised at how light it is. You got just a hint of like a lemon rind pine hop to it, but it's very minute. It's almost, there's just enough for you to know it's there, but it doesn't linger at all. So if you don't like a hoppiness to your beers, don't worry. This isn't really that. You just get like a hint that it's there, and that's it. It very much, it kind of has that, and it overlaps a nicely made Pilsner. I don't think this is a Pilsner. It doesn't really say too much about what kind of beer it is. It's just a beer for drinking. But it very much has like a basic Pilsner taste to it. A clean Pilsner. It doesn't have any of that funk that you might get from certain Pilsners. You got a bit of that kind of lemongrass taste going on. Everything is kind of just subtle. You got that subtle Pilsner taste going on. You got that subtle kind of just dab of a hint of hops in it. I'm trying to think if you have any malt. Nah, not really much on the maltiness. It's more you got that hint of bitter from the hops, and that's about it. You don't really have anything else going on. But it is. I mean, I think it lives up to its beer for drinking labeling. It very much is a beer that you can just crack this open. It's 20 ounces, and you just go with it. Absolutely, and I think it really lives up to its name. And so I'm gonna recommend it on taste because it's not crazy on flavor. If you want a very super flavorful beer, this isn't for you. But if you just want something that you can kind of like, maybe it's starting to get warmer out, you want something that you can just kind of kick back, crack open a beer. This would be great if you were like you had like the radio, like the baseball game radio while you're grilling outside. I don't know about you guys, but there's just something about listening to a baseball game on the radio. Like with most other sports, you kind of miss something when you listen to the radio broadcast. You know, like you listen to a football broadcast, you can tell by the excitement of the broadcaster's voice of what's going on. But it's still hard to you don't really pick up the play. You can't see what's going on. Basketball, a little bit. Hockey is like impossible. You don't know. Until somebody scores, you don't know what's happening. But baseball at times is almost like better on the radio versus TV, and I feel like a lot of times the baseball broadcaster, they're almost better than the TV personalities they got going on. I grew up in Michigan, and so we had the great Ernie Harwell calling a lot of those games, and so I would listen to a lot of the Ernie Harwell games, and there's something about those old school dudes calling games. It's just something that's great about that. Of course, I'm a White Sox fan. I'm sure my father just owned me that was one of the reasons. But to be fair, they were not in the same divisions at that time. But even most recently, the White Sox radio broadcast was an old school baseball guy. I can't remember his name. He just sadly passed away. But there's just something about those. Like the baseball radio broadcast. But this is the perfect beer where it's just starting to get warm out. You get the baseball game on the radio and you're grilling or you're doing yard work or something like that. And that'll have to be next year, not this year. But this is that perfect beer for something like that. And I got 2 flies in it, damn it. But I'm going to recommend it on taste. I think it definitely works if that's the kind of like setup you're going for. Next category is value for price, and I mean it's a Sierra Nevada. They're probably a little less than a lot of your most micro beers cost. And this is not a super hoppy IPA. Those beers can get more expensive. This one is very fair, and you can pick it up as a single. I mean, this is a good beer if you just want, like, maybe pick up two. We got 40 ounces, about 40 ounces of beer for drinking beer. So absolutely, I'd recommend it for a value price. It's a fair price. So thumbs up for that. I recommend it at value price. Next category is distinction. How distinct is it? And this is where it's like, I'm not really sure what category to put it in. It's just a beer. Just a beer. Maybe that's all it's supposed to be. Maybe when somebody's over and they're like, just give me a beer. You know, whatever. Give them this. I don't know what category to really put it in. It's not really a Pilsner. It's definitely not an IPA. It's just kind of a... It's not a pale ale. Like, it's just a beer. And it's an easy drinking beer. But I'm not really sure what to compare it to. It's not super distinct, really. I mean, it's done well. It's not really that distinct. But I'm going to give it a half because it's done at least well, and it's drinkable. And it lives up to its title. So I'll give it a half for that. Next category is drinkability, and yes, it absolutely is drinkable. It very much lives up to its name. It is as long as I can skip the bugs. It is a very drinkable beer. I mean, it's perfect for that. So I'm gonna recommend it on drinkability. And last category is would I buy it again? And you know what? I think I would. This is just, like I said, this is a great beer when you just like want one or two or however many. You're outside doing yard work. You don't want something super heavy, but you want something with a little more flavor. You want it to be crisp. You don't want like a crazy lingering taste. This doesn't really have any lingering going on. This absolutely fits all those bills, and sometimes that's just what you want. You don't want the crazy IPAs. You don't want the crazy fruit stuff. You don't even necessarily want like that super refreshing like wheat beer. You just want something that's like, I don't know. You just want something that's kind of minimal in taste, but enough taste to really kind of keep you going. And this absolutely checks all those boxes off. So I think I will be buying it again at some point. I'll recommend it on that. But yeah, that's the review. Oh, where the bugs have disappeared in the beer. That's scary. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, so that's the review of Sierra Nevada's BFD beer for drinking. What do you guys think? Have you had it before? Let me know in the comments. If you could like, subscribe, do all the good stuff. And so I still got like a fridge full of some beers I'm trying to review in different locations, since I can't really do it at the apartment right now, and just try to capitalize on that while I can enjoy the weather. I gotta tell you what, I'll be moving back to Michigan. I'll be in the Detroit area, but I gotta admit, it being like 90 degrees here and looking back there, and it's like snowing at the end of April, I'm like, God, what am I doing? Yeah, so I'm going to try to take advantage of the weather and all the locations while I can. So anyways, for myself and for Sierra Nevada, take it easy.